All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Millennial Trades channel. So, I guess I did okay today, right? I brought the account up last week to about 1,600, and then Tuesday, I was in a trade. My account went to 2,100, and I didn't take it, and I took the account down to about 9. Actually, it was down to 800. No, I think it was Monday. I was in a trade on Monday, and I saw the account go to 2,100. I didn't take it. $600 wasn't enough. Stupid ass. And so I watched the trade go against me. Well, I scaled out of it, but then I put more contracts on. This all happened on Monday. And so, anyways, by Tuesday, I was down to 828. Then Wednesday, I brought it up to 9. I think I made $100 or something. Brought it up to like 930. Well, today we're up almost another $400. It was like, I don't know, 43% or something I was up today. So we got the account back up to 1,300, which, is a bit of a relief, right? Because once you get under 1,000, it gets pretty precarious. 1,300 gives you a little bit more wiggle room, because if you're wrong on a trade, you can get out and maybe re-enter a different trade. But I'm trading Amazon. I'm trying to focus on the Amazon price action, keep things simple. I don't have a lot of screens, so I'm just trying to focus on, one ticker here. And so the situation is that we traded Amazon. We went long right underneath the supply zone because it was holding up. There was a supply zone at like 96, 97. So I took it long today and held for a pretty nice run. I scaled out of one contract before the first pullback, but then just to be safe, and I did put my whole account in. I put like the whole $928 pretty much. I bought as many contracts as I could. I think I had 11 contracts, and then I sold at right under $97. I had the 96. No, I had the 101 calls for next week, and I think they expired on the 24th. Well, I'm watching the price action off and on because I had to run some errands or whatever. I should have just held. I wish I had held, because now Amazon is back up at $100 a share. My contracts are worth well over, the contracts that I sold for 120 was the price I got for them. They're now worth over 200. So in a way, I kind of feel like I messed up. I'm trying not to think like that because, I need to be grateful for what I was able to accomplish today. I got my account back up to 1,300. I'm like $300 over 1,000. Made almost 400 on the day. But when you see it, go past the price that you got it for, and we're almost in the money. Like, this happened yesterday to me too. I made like $100 yesterday on the $96 calls that expire tomorrow. Had I just held those, we're deep in the money now. Those contracts are worth, I don't know, 400, 500, something like that. So I'm really trying not to think like this, but it's like, how can you not? It's frustrating when you can't seem to, have the balls to hold for the entire move. And the markets are just ignoring the danger out there, right? It's obviously dangerous. There's something going on in the banking sector. The European banks almost collapsed before I think it's the Swiss central bank is going to loan Credit Suisse $50 billion. But again, this is just the first response in Europe. We had the first response with Biden on Monday morning here. But if you look back in history, look at 2009, look at a lot of these crashes, the first government response is hardly ever enough. Something else probably is going to happen, whether it's weeks or months from now, and they're going to have to do something else, right? They're going to have to provide more liquidity. But the markets are ignoring all of this. Well, at least the tech sector. The tech sector is ignoring all of this. So perhaps some opportunities to short next week. I'm actually at the beach. For those of you that don't know, I live in Virginia Beach. Well, I live in Norfolk, but it's pretty close to Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads. And I'm going to go for a run because it's a weird feeling. I'm grateful that I got my account back up to 1,300. But at the same time, if I had just held, I would have been over 2,000 right now. So that's a little frustrating. But You know, I'm a scalper and I can't take chances with my account. I didn't know it was going to go to 100, so I guess I should not beat myself up so much about it, you know. Let me show you guys the ocean. Yeah, we're going to go for a little run here. I mean, you also have like JP Morgan's asset management saying that, you know, there's a huge risk to the banking sector. You see all these banking stocks going down. You know, if it weren't for the fact that the government's just going to buy these banks and bail them out and, you know, nationalize them, I'd be interested in, you know, trying to acquire some shares. But it just seems like the risk of nationalization with the banks is just too great right now. The one bank I'm interested in is SoFi because it's fintech, and you know, they seem fairly solvent from what I've researched about SoFi. But like a lot of these fintechs, you know, they're offering these buy now, pay later programs. Even the credit unions have massive exposure to subprime auto loan market, and it's definitely concerning. You know, Charles Schwab, I think, lost $3 billion of his net worth over the weekend, and he's the guy that owns TD Ameritrade. So if TD Ameritrade goes under, like, you know, how do you trade? You know, so it's scary. It's definitely scary out there, but you know, I think we're going to push past this for now, but we'll see. Maybe all these breakouts in the, you know, with Amazon and Apple, maybe they're false, and maybe in the next month or so we go lower. I mean, it's so hard to predict these things. You can't predict them because black swan events could happen at any point in time. All right, so I'm going to take you guys out here to this little rock pier, I guess is what you would call it. I'm trying to get a good thumbnail because you can see all the hotels, like the whole coastline when you go out here. So that's what we're trying to do. This beach is beautiful. Look, we got surfers in the water. It's so much nicer than California. I mean, California has its magic to it, but it's a mess. We actually got rated the #1 cleanest city on some list, like out of 100, or I think out of 1,000. Virginia Beach is the #1 cleanest city in America. And Norfolk came in at like number 12, I think. Something like that. So here's the thing with the markets, right? If, like, the entire playbook needs to be rewritten for the past few months. Interest rates have been bearish. Lower interest rates or talks of hikes has been bullish. Okay, so when I said talks of hikes, I meant talks of cuts was bullish. So just wanted to correct that real quick. Now on to the rest of the vlog. But that entire thing needs to be rewritten now because with this banking crisis, which some people think the Fed is responsible for, you know, their interest rates are causing, you know, people to take their money out. The banks aren't offering as high of an interest rates as the bonds and some of the money market accounts are. So depositors are taking their money out. Okay, whatever. Whether or not you want to blame the Fed or say that the Fed is causing this by design, that's up to you. But the point is that now the entire playbook needs to be rewritten. It's quite possible that interest rates could actually be bullish because if they don't raise the interest rates anymore, that means the Fed is legitimately concerned about the banking crisis, the banking issue. So the entire script needs to be rewritten. I tried the CPI trade, right? CPI was a dud. Any other month, the CPI had either a good effect or a negative effect, depending on where it was. But CPI was in line with expectations. The core CPI was actually up, which means that, you know, the Fed's going to see that, and they're going to, you know, that's probably going to influence their decision. But the market didn't react to it, or at least didn't react the way it would have a couple of months ago. So we're in this weird situation now where interest rates, higher interest rates could actually be bullish because it means the Fed is not that concerned. And if the Fed doesn't hike interest rates or even talks about cutting them, that could be extremely bearish on the markets for the simple fact that the market may interpret that as the Fed is concerned about the banking sector. And that's where we're at in these markets. This is a great view, is it not? Is this not a great, this has got to be the thumbnail. I want to title the video like I messed up or I fucked up. I don't know, I'll have to come up with it. I'll take some pictures. But yeah, we're at Virginia Beach. I find it very relaxing out here. Look at the surfers. They're trying to catch some waves. These waves are not very, that's one thing about Virginia Beach is we don't have very good waves. But I'd like to get into surfing. That's like a hobby you got to come out here at least once a week to do. Oh look, we got a boat. I love it out here, guys. I really do. I'm so blessed. I'm so much better off out here than I was in California. On top of everything else going on in my life, you know, door dashing and still trying to trade, still keeping the dream alive, the IRS is after me. I talk about that on my other channel, but I actually got to go down there today. I couldn't download my wage and income transcripts from 2020. Apparently I didn't file in 2020. Didn't file in 2017 or 2018 either. So, but I couldn't download my 2020 wage and income transcript because it was 400 pages long. So I'm going to pick it up today at the federal building. I'm really wondering what is going to be in that, because I can't imagine why it's, I mean, I was trading, but I wasn't trading that much. You know, and I was trading more in 2022, and my taxes were not that complicated. So I don't know what's going on there. That might be a mistake. I guess we're gonna find out. But yeah, so I owe the IRS not only for 2017, but also probably for not filing and the interest. So I'm gonna try a settle and compromise. I'd much rather do that than you know, do some sort of even a partial installment program where I'm having to pay the IRS for 6 years. The IRS apparently does have like start over programs, like fresh start programs. So we'll see if they offer it to this white boy. But anyways, there's the coastline. That's north. New York is all the way up there. And Florida is that way. And this would have been the first coast that the Jamestown settlers saw. Like this entire coastline. It's amazing to think that, you know, the Spanish and the Anglo-Saxons sailed all the way across the ocean to settle these lands. I mean, it's an amazing story. It's a story that gets a lot of hate these days, but nevertheless, it is an amazing story. You know, despite what the libtards say. And another thing I'm really worried about is the you know, this tech rally. Is it a false breakout? Should we be going long on this, even if it's on an intraday basis, or is that extremely dangerous right now? I mean, it's going to be the market is still entirely data dependent, right? But I just have a feeling could be, possibly, potentially, there could be something more going on behind the scenes, and we just haven't got the news about it yet. I mean, the latest was the Credit Suisse liquidity issue, solvency issue really, and now the central bank over there in Switzerland's bailing them out. You know, is this just what the banks are going to do around the world, is just bail out every failing bank? And then what's next? You know, are they going to bail out other sectors and nationalize the whole thing? Is this part of the plan? Is this part of the, you know, 2030 globalist agenda? I mean, that's what some people say. I'm not saying that's entirely true. You know, and then what do you do with the metals, right? I mean, the metals, let's face it, they're good to stack. It's good to have, obviously. But if you're looking for major price swings, I mean, it's been a complete dud. Yes, they've sort of retained their value at least, you know, compared to the markets. But, I mean, I say this all the time, until gold is at 2,500, until gold is at 3,000, there's not a whole lot to talk about there. You know, I guess just accumulating is the right thing to do. Despite what Dave Ramsey says. Dave Ramsey says go out and buy a house. You know, he said that recently. That's probably, we got to be careful about, especially these mainstream guys that are on TV like Kramer, that have major, you know, mainstream radio shows like Ramsey. We got to be careful of these guys because they deceive us a lot of the time. You know, especially CNBC. I mean, Kramer was just pumping SVB that failed like a couple days later, a couple weeks later. So that's what they do. They tell us to go and buy stuff they're selling out of. You know, and that's the way it works. I mean, if people can't see that and they want to continue listening to these globalist shills, you know, that's on them. But we're being very careful walking across the rocks here. So, yeah, we're going to go to the federal building. Well, I'm going to finish up my run. And then the next clip will be at the federal building. We'll see what this, how big this stack of paperwork is for my 2020 taxes. But yeah, I'm trying not to beat myself up too much about, you know, the trades. You know, I'm just trying to stay green. If I can stay green week by week, month by month, you know, eventually I'm going to make it back. I really truly believe that the persistence, you know, is ultimately how, and the rock is kind of shiny. Persistence is how I'm going to make it. You know, if I give up, I'm never going to be able to do it, right? So, all right, back to my run. All right, guys, we're down here walking towards the federal building. Looks like they're building another skyscraper, so that's cool. Got the Icon building right there. The Marriott Hotel. And I'm not sure what that is. That looks like a town bank building. It could be town bank, I'm not sure. We're going to go visit the IRS. Never in a million years did I think I would be in this situation. But thanks, Biden. Much appreciated. And there's the town bank building. See, it says town bank. So we got quite a few buildings in this town. Bank Street. Bank Street. This must be the financial district of Norfolk. I think that's the mall right there. Norfolk's got a streetcar too. I don't know if I've ever shown that to you guys. But you can travel, I guess, all the way down this street, whatever street this is. I think it actually goes down Granby too. I got a nice little station. You can buy a couple
Turn
tickets.
left toward City Hall Avenue.
Bye. You really do have to kind of marvel at a city like this. I mean, so pristine, so clean. Yeah, there's a lot of crime, but there's a lot going on. But I mean, we live in such a complex society. The ancient Romans would just be awestruck by any of this. I think we kind of take it for granted, you know, because like we're living in the society today, but people will look back on this and they'll be amazed at how sophisticated we were for our time, just like we're kind of amazed by the ancient Romans and how sophisticated they were. All right, we in. We in. Filming from the elevator in the Norfolk Federal Building. Creepy. It's just a little creepy in here. It's probably the wrong direction. I think this, yeah. Hey there. So I'm here to pick up, it's about 400 pages of,
Oh, okay.
you know what packet I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I'm working with Lauren Miller.
Yeah, I'm Robin also.
Okay, I'm Charles Marlowe.
Charles Marlowe. I have them.
Okay. Thank you. Oh my gosh. All right. Wow. Thank you.
You have a nice day.
My 2020 tax return, my income and wage transcript. I mean, what could be in this thing? This is crazy. I don't know. This is nuts. This is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
Going down.
Yeah, it was 529. I see y'all in. All right, so we just got out of the Norfolk Federal Building. Look at the size of this tax return. Look at this. I mean, these are my 2020 taxes. What could be in here? It's a bunch of brokerage statements, but I mean, I didn't make this many trades. This is 400 frickin' pages. They didn't charge me for it, which was, I guess that's nice of the IRS, right? Unbelievable. I mean, I honestly can't believe it. I'm kind of excited to see what's in here, but I was at a net loss in 2020. I think I lost $3,000 in 2020. So this is just crazy. I saw PayPal in there too. We got the mermaids, the white mermaids in the house. So it is what it is. I got to go through this over the weekend here. Try to straighten this out. I've already got everything, got all the paperwork for my 2017 and 2018 filled out. Now I just got to work on 2020 and I'll be all filed. And hopefully they won't put me in jail.